Okay, so we're going to give everybody a chance to come in. I have not done a live in so long. Y'all, I've just been, spending time with my parents and making sure that they're good. And then had some other stuff that was going on. So, anyway, I wanted to come on real quick to talk about just all of this stuff that's been going on lately. Like, it is just unreal. And so I wanted to come on and take a minute to just talk about it because when I hear people talking about abuse and abusive behavior, is something that I always feel like I have to speak up on because it's something that, is like really near and dear to my heart. And this week, it seems like so many situations started to come up where people are now speaking up and they're talking about the abuse that's taking place in their life. And one of the people that I really, really like. I just think that he is gorgeous. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't dead, y'all, but I think he is gorgeous. And that is Christian Keys. And I have followed Christian Keys since, he was in all the Medea stuff. And y'all do me a favor, make sure you share the video because I ain't gonna be on here long. I'm only gonna be here for a few minutes because I is tired. But yeah, so but Christian Keys actually when I first, realized who he was actually on in Medea's plays, Medea, Tyler Perry's plays. And I used to go to every Tyler Perry play that there was. Like, I remember when Tyler Perry was living out of his car, and he would get on stage and he would tell people that, hopefully I can pay the cast today, that kind of stuff. So I remember all of that. And that's where, it was a younger Christian Keys. You could tell that he was young. But that's where I really remember really learning about Christian Keys, who he was. But Christian Keys is, if you, I feel like he's kind of underrated. He's a really good actor, but I feel like he's underrated. I don't really feel like, but he talked about it in his video. I don't think that he really is recognized, like he should be. He's a great actor, and he seems to be a really, really, great person. And if you go and listen to his video that he did, um, it's really sad because he is now in his 40s, but you can see the pain that's been on him, the pain that he's been living with, and dealing with the abuse. Now, he did not give the person's name that was, and this is like, sexual. He didn't give the name of the person that allegedly was, groping him, trying to get him in the bed, offering to pay him money for different things. He didn't name the person, but he says that he definitely has video. Footage, not footage, not video footage. Let me get it right. He actually has the phone. He has it on his phone, and you can hear the person's voice. And he was like, "If I play it for you right now, you'll definitely know who this person is that I'm talking about." And he was like, "Y'all just vilify this person like they're so great." And but he would you could hear the pain in his voice. You could see the hurt that he was saying. He's just tired. Like, he's tired of carrying this weight of being abused as a man, as a younger man, and not saying anything. But at the same time, I respect Christian Keys because one thing Christian Keys said is that um, he's very careful in the roles that he takes because he's not going to put himself in a position to a compromising position just to be able to get a role or to make money. He's not going to do that. And so, shout out to Christian Keys, but I could hear the pain in Christian Keys' voice, and it's really sad. A lot of people in Hollywood are starting to speak up about this abusive behavior that's been taking place. And we've long heard about this, that in order for you to move up and do certain things, that you gotta participate in some stuff that you might not want to participate in. And then, a lot of times, now I'm a singer, And I remember, like traveling with these gospel artists and singing and all of that. And I remember sometimes I'll be looking around and I'll be like, how did that person actually make it, to be up there singing? Like, how did they make it? And then you hear a person who can sing, like who can blow, and they're not able to move up or do anything. And like they say, and people starting to speak up more, is that if you're not willing to compromise in certain areas of your career, you're not going to move up. Cat Williams did a video about, he would never wear a dress. He's not going to dress up like a female, because he was like, that's one of the forms of control, when they can get you to do that, to dress up like a female. Like, he's like, I'm not doing that. And so, shout out, I love me some Cat Williams, y'all. I love me some Cat Williams. So shout out to Cat Williams, because he was talking about that. When people are really starting to speak up about this abuse that's taking place, and Terry Crews had even spoken up. Now, we don't see Terry Crews in anymore, unless y'all see him, because I haven't. And I like Terry Crews, but I haven't seen him in really any more shows since he spoke up. And that's why they call it Holly Weird. People like, they don't even say Hollywood, they call it Holly Weird, because of some of the things that you have to do just to be a part of that. I'm gonna call it an organization, that fraternity, that secret society, in order for you to be a part of it. And like I said, I'm a singer, and I remember having conversations in the background with some people, like, well, I can get you to sing, I can get you to do this, but you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you need to change your name. I'm like, yo, no, 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 no. It wasn't that serious for me, and I love to sing, but it wasn't that serious for me. But so shout out to Christian Keys. I'm praying for him, because I could actually see the pain on this grown man's face of holding on. Because let me tell you something about abuse. When you have gone through any type of abuse, you can try to hold it in all you want. But hey, James, I know I haven't been on here in a minute, James. This was stuff going on. Gotta take care of the parents. But and I'm gonna say happy Halloween, y'all. Happy Merry Christmas. You see where my mind is at, like Merry Christmas. I didn't even know Christmas was coming up on Monday. It's just been so much. Hey, 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 Candy, Lisa, how you doing? So, but like, we this is the thing, when you've gone through any type of abuse, and see, these people are in Hollywood, and I know they're trying to make it, and you already have a strike against you being a black male or black female in Hollywood. And so, it's going to be a rough road for you anyway. But then when you got to participate in these compromising positions of being, having sex with men, and being groped, and some of the stuff they was talking about, I'm like, child, the stuff that they say that they've had to do. 2 minute, take your kids out the room, because this ain't a kid friendly conversation. 2 men at a time, all this kind of stuff. I said, see, me, and I love what Christian Key said, because I always say the same thing, and people laugh at me sometimes, but I say this all the time. They're like, Lady J, you should be doing this. Hey, Keith, how you doing? They be like, Lady J, you should be here. You should be making money. You should be doing this. Y'all don't even know some of the crazy offers that I get, craziness to do stuff, especially from these men. But I turn it down. I love what Christian Key said. Christian Key said, I take the slow bus. I'm on the slow route. And I appreciate that, because sometimes you gotta pull yourself away from that craziness, and not get yourself involved in that type of foolery. Now, unfortunately, Christian was young. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Y'all heard me say Happy Halloween, because I don't know what day it is. That's why I put this hat on. But it still didn't know what day it was. But anyway, and I'm gonna talk about the Sheila Dixon. Lord, we're gonna say a prayer for Miss Sheila Dixon, because I love her. We're gonna say a prayer for her. We're gonna talk about her in a minute. But Christian Keys, shout out to that brother for speaking up. Hey, Dr. Porter. Shout out to that brother for speaking up, because the thing about it is that once they start speaking up, people bodies start coming up. They start coming up missing. or dead or something like that. And so he even said in his video, if anything happens to me, y'all have the actual voice. You can hear it because I've recorded everything. Everything is there. He was like, y'all got it. Somebody else, Kanye has said that when Kanye has started talking, putting information out there, he was like, if anything happens to me, y'all know this is why, because I'm talking. But this abusive behavior, this power that people are, listen, it's not, I don't know, maybe some people want to sing real bad or you want to be in the industry real bad, but for me it wasn't that serious. Like I'm not putting my body through that, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. But I will say this. um I know what it's like to go through abuse. And that is something that does not leave you. Like it is with you for life. It affects you for life. So when Christian Keys was talking, I felt like I was like sitting in the room right across from him because I could feel everything. Who is that? Happy Merry Christmas, brother Sila. Hey, Merry Christmas. I could feel elevate your mind and let's go higher. Yes. In the Lord, I could feel everything that this man was saying. I could feel his pain when he was just saying, I'm so tired of carrying this. I'm so tired of not being able to talk about it. And what he did was he shared it with his brother. His brother was advising him not to come on live and talk about it, but he went on live and talked about it anyway. Because you know what? Sometimes, and this is for anybody that's going through abuse right now, sometimes you just get to the point where you like to heck with it. Okay, if something happens, it happens. If people are embarrassed because I'm saying that this happened to me, then they just gonna have to be embarrassed. I'm going to speak up and say my piece, because when you speak up and say your piece, you're freeing yourself. Nobody went through that except you. And sometimes people want you to be quiet because people don't want to accept the fact that that happened, or they love this other person so much that they don't even want you saying anything about the other person. Woo, woosah, 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 woosah. Because I remember when I was married, and sometimes I would share bits and pieces with people at the church, and they would be like, well, don't say anything because your father's the pastor, and you don't want to mess his name up, and y'all you just go here and try to work it out. It didn't matter what I was saying about how I was feeling, what I was going through. It was all about protecting the church, my father. Like, don't let people run your life like that. So back to Christian Keys. Shout out to you, brother. I hope that whoever it was, that you go ahead and do like you said. He said it's not about money. That's why he let the statute of limitations run out, because he doesn't want money. He just wants peace. And let me tell you something. There is nothing like peace of mind. They probably couldn't offer this man $1 billion. He just wants his peace, and he would like to get a part of that life back that that person took from them. I was abused as a kid, and it took me years to talk about it. From 11 to 14, abused, sexually abused. And it took me so long to talk about it because I'm afraid of who going to think. And this, listen, it was freeing for me, but guess what it did? It's done a lot to me. And I still suffer with the trauma of that. And so when people go through abuse, because I heard people like lashing out, he was probably doing it for this. Stop doing that. When people go through abuse, walk through it with them or get off the video. Don't look at it. But don't say stuff like that, because if you haven't gone through it, then you don't know what it feels like. And that is a feeling that is with you for life. And depending on what they did to you, that could make it even worse. So shout out to Kristen Keys. I'm praying for you, brother. I love him. Like I said, I think he's fine as can be. The brother, I don't know why he's single, because he just as gorgeous as he can be. He's too young for me, though, but he gorgeous. But shout out to Kristen Keys. I'm praying for you. And I pray for your healing, and I pray for your peace, because you deserve it. Now, Bryshere Gray. Bryshere Gray, if you all know, he used to play on Empire. He was Lucius and what was that crazy woman's name? Lucius' wife. They were the parents. Well, I can't remember her name. Um, hey Eric, is Eric on here? And so Bryshere Gray is speaking up now. Bryshere Gray came out this week, and he's now speaking up about um because Diddy is going through this whole thing. Allegedly, I gotta say that allegedly he's going through this whole thing with the lady Cassie about abuse, and Bryshere Gray was saying that Diddy and Will Smith abused him. I said, now I heard about Diddy, Will Smith. So we're gonna keep Bryshere in prayer, because Bryshere Gray was he was a teenager. I think Bryshere was probably like 17 or something when he was on there. And something that Christian Key said was that he saw a lot of young guys being abused, being molested, going through so much stuff just because they wanted to, they want to be in that that world. They want to act, they want to work. That's what they love to do. And so Bryshere Gray is now coming out saying that some sexual stuff happened to him. I said, Jesus, we gotta pray. We gotta pray. Now, hey Christina Flowers. Y'all, we've been praying for Christina Flowers, for her mom. Her mom is in hospice. We want to keep her in prayer. Some of you all know her because I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of that. Some of y'all might not, but anyway, in Baltimore, we love her, so we praying for her mom. I know what she's going through. And so Bryshere Gray, we're gonna keep Bryshere Gray in prayer, because Bryshere is still a young guy. And this is something that he's going to now have to carry with him the rest of his life. And the worst part about, dealing with abuse and carrying the abuse is people saying, well, why are you talking about it now? Like I think I was in my 40s when I mentioned, what happened to me at 11. And people were like, well, why are you talking about it now? He got a family, he got this, he got kids. Why are you always worried about the predator? Why are you always worried about that person? How about worrying about the person that has gone through all of the pain? How about worrying about that? And so, it just really gets under my skin. So we're gonna pray for Bryshere Gray. And then there were some other ones, some rappers who are now speaking up about, some things that they have gone through just in order to get on a record label. They had to do some things, like bending over. They had to do some things. Y'all read between the lines, because I don't know if kids are in the room. And then y'all know Jaguar Wright. She's been speaking up a lot about hey Darnell, she's been speaking up a lot about what's been going on in Hollywood, but nobody wasn't kind of listening to Jaguar, because she was talking about everybody and people talking about she crazy, this, that, and the third. But since she's spoken up, a lot of people are coming up and they're speaking up about their abuse. And I think it's about time, because in our society, we don't want to talk about mental illness. We don't want to talk about sexual, physical, mental, verbal. We don't want to talk about abuse, period. We want to just medicate people and tell them to move on. And we got to stop doing that. And we have to deal with it. Now, last but not least, something that really hurt my heart today, because to be honest with y'all, people were like, where you been at? Well, I had to pull back because I've been helping to take care of my parents. But so I've been kind of out of the loop with a lot of stuff that's been going on. But I had to jump on here tonight because see, it's certain people that I have to jump on. Um, you know, it's certain people that I have to jump on, and I just gotta say my 2 cents, because I need people to stop jumping to conclusions. Because we got a lot of people that become lawyers and doctors and therapists and all this stuff, and they never went to no school, but they gonna tell you everything that happened and was not even in the room. Okay, so today, every now and then I'm getting a chance to get back on social media. So today I was on there, and shout out to Haki. I love that brother, because Haki is I love him. I love when men are men, and they don't mind speaking up and saying what they have to say. So shout out to Haki. He had put a post up about Sheila Dixon. Now, for those of you who don't know who Sheila Dixon is, she used to be a mayor here in Baltimore. She is a very, very, very strong black woman. I love this woman. Every time I see her, like, she just is cool, like the lady next door kind of thing. You know, I got her number. I can call her. I can talk to her. Like, she just cool. She cool people. So I saw this thread going on Hakeem's page about Sheila Dixon, and somebody was saying, "Oh, she was abused, and we need to go help her, and we need to call the police. The person need to be locked up." And I had to pump the brakes at that point because I'm like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute." Now y'all can say what y'all want about Miss Dixon, Miss Sheila Dixon. That's my girl. Like, I love her. Hey, Dimitri. I love Shirley Dixon. Like I said, I've had a chance to interview her, talk to her one-on-one, meet her at the park, talk to her on the phone. She is a cool person, beautiful person, inside and out. So don't be putting no bad comments on here. So I was asking Hakeem, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've been out of the loop. So he sent me this video of her being on Fox 45. Y'all, Fox 45 is petty. They are petty. Why did Fox 45 let that video just continue to play? I don't know. Like, being in the media, like, I do understand that it's news and you're gonna get views and stuff like that, but unbelievable. Yeah, Christina, exactly. But I just wanted to get on here and say something about, just abuse, period. Because people were assuming, and I'm saying assuming, that she was in a house. She's in her house and she is being abused. Now, I don't live in Miss Dixon's house. I used to actually live right around the corner from her house. I mean, right, literally around the corner. I could walk to her house. And I did a couple of times. Oh, I got a cramp in my hand. Oh. But people were saying, and this is not so much in Hakeem's thread, but people started texting me more and more as people started seeing the video, and they were like, she was at home, and I'm not even gonna say what they were saying because I don't want to repeat negative stuff. I really don't. But the stuff that people were saying to me, I'm like, what? Like, I wasn't at her house, and I don't. What is going on with my finger? Y'all, I bent my hand and my finger just cramped up. I wasn't at her house and I don't really know what happened. I watched the video, and you all can actually go watch the video because it's still up, and she was actually trending today. This video was trending, and you could see her, the lady, I forgot the news person's name, but she was interviewing her, and you see Miss Dixon, and I call her Miss Dixon because I believe in, doing that. That's how I was raised, Miss Dixon. So Miss Dixon, you could see her. First of all, she was hoarse. She was really, voice gone, and that's what happened to a lot of people. It happened to me last month. It's a little virus going around, and so Miss Dixon was being interviewed virtually, and you see her, like, as she's talking, she's looking up and doing this and putting her hand up and, like, pulling back a little bit. Then you see her phone had fallen, and whoever this person was, they were throwing clothes at her. And I still don't know who the person was. They were throwing clothes at her, and you could see that she was, like, trying to stop it with her hand, and then she let it drop down, and she kept going on with the interview. And then at one point you hear yeah, I'm sorry, I was laughing at Christina's comment because what, Christina, that's what I thought too. That's the same thing I thought. Like, let me finish what I'm saying, and then I'm gonna come back. Y'all be cracking me up in these comments. And so Miss Dixon, she's just a professional, and so she was still answering the questions, and the reporter was saying, I hear some feedback in the background, and she knew she didn't hear feedback. She heard somebody talking, and the person was saying something like, "You hear me? You're not listening to me. Like, you're not listening." And so, and I had to put the thing up to my ear to hear real good what the person was saying. And so Miss Dixon just cut right on. They throwing these. Now, where was he getting? Where was the person getting clothes from? Was you washing clothes? Like, what was? I couldn't figure out. Was you unpacking? Like, what was going on? But anyway, they was throwing clothes at her, and she was just dodging in it. But the thing with her that I noticed with her is she gave him a look like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this video, but when I finish this video, you better be gone. You better not be standing here. You better not be throwing no more clothes. It was like she was saying so many things while doing while doing the interview. Like it's like a mother, like when you're at church and the pastor's preaching and the mother's not really like fussing at you or saying anything, but the mother is giving you a look like, and you reading it all across her forehead, I'm going to beat your behind when this church is over. And in some ways, when I was looking at her, I was like, I don't want to say that she was afraid. You know, a lot of people were saying that she was afraid, she was feeling threatened. I don't know. I have to have a conversation with her. I didn't have a chance. The day was so crazy. I was running, and I wanted to give her the respect and not be on the phone, you know, trying to rush and acting like I'm trying to get an interview. I genuinely wanted to make sure she was okay. So I'm gonna call her tomorrow. But um, people were texting me like, she's afraid and we need to call the police. We need to do it. Well, like I was telling people, what we need to do first, slow down, is we need to, number one, make sure that she's okay. And there, she does have friends. She has family. People were saying like she needs to up her security and all this kind of stuff. Well, she's not going to have security walking around inside of her house. They might be outside, but they're not going to be inside walking around her house. I have met Miss Dixon in person many times. And what I will say about her is she does not have a problem speaking up. She don't bite her tongue. Um, Someone did say that it could have been a special needs child. Now, I don't know. I don't know if she has a special needs child at home. And that could be. Because sometimes when you have special needs children, they don't understand that you're doing an interview, and they might throw tantrums and hey Haki, salute to you, brother. I love you, brother, because you one of the real men. You one of the real ones. I love that, brother. Because this is just, I'm not going to talk about men tonight, but I don't know what's going on with men these days. I really don't. Like this breed that's out here. I don't know. But Haki, one of the real ones. So I salute to Haki. Um, and so, when she said, "Nah, that was an old man." Christine said, "Nah, that was an old man's voice." Now, Christina, and you could be right, because I thought about that too. But then I said, I'm trying not to assume anything that happened with Miss Dixon. Um, but you know, like I said, I think what we have to do is slow down. We gotta, allow her, because she's not a dumb woman. I noticed, and this is the thing for those of you who don't know who she is, and I think I started talking and I stopped. But anyway, she used to be our mayor at one point in time, and she's actually running for mayor again. And I really, really love Miss Dixon, like I do. Um, Haki said we need to talk about it. These violent men, absolutely, absolutely. And thank you, Haki. Like I gave you your props at the beginning for even, putting it out there, because I've been so out of the loop. I didn't even know. But it was concerning to me once I saw the video. But here's my thing. Make sure that she's okay. And like I said, she has people around her, and I know she has people around her who she can talk to. Um, I pray. Um, I know that's right, Christina. You call me. Call me. Um, and so, but I pray. My prayer is that Miss Dixon um, is okay, and that whoever this person was, that she escorted him to the door, or she called the police, because here's what you're not going to do in my house, okay? And I'm a chaplain, and I will pray for you and everything. But here's what you're not going to do in my house. This goes for husband, son, and y'all know I love my son to the ends of the earth. But what you're not going to do is disrespect me in my house. Not in my house. You're not going to do that. And when and like now, I'm sitting here doing an interview. I wish, no, I don't. I ain't gonna say I wish. But if somebody was here and they decided that they're going to start throwing stuff at me or saying stuff at me, you know what? I'm gonna say, excuse me, y'all, 1 second. And unfortunately, y'all gonna hear me. You know, I could be on Fox 45, I could be whatever, because for me personally, I'm not at that point like Miss Dixon sitting in the camera and you're throwing clothes at me and you're talking, you clearly see that I'm doing an interview. So that's a part of me that I have to pray for. And y'all know that I'm really open about me. So that for me, I would have to get up. Y'all would hear somebody in the background. I would excuse myself from the lady on Fox 45, or maybe ask her, can we do this at another time? Because this is about to get it. Because see, now you want to act like a fool while I'm sitting up here trying to do the video. That you at that point, you're not a grown man to me. You acting like a child, so you're not a grown man. So for me, I can always come back and do the interview. I can always come back and talk, but I'm getting ready to deal with you on point right now. I'm dealing with you right now, okay? And so I'm not going to sit up here just because I'm a chaplain and say, oh, I would have prayed for him. No, because I'm not there yet, and because of the abuse that I've gone through, the very last thing that anybody's going to do to me ever is abuse me, because I'm going to check you right then and there. And when people have gone through abusive situations, the one thing you don't want to do is push their buttons, especially men with me. Like, I don't play with men. I don't. I don't. That's why I don't do the dating thing. I don't do none of that stuff, because I got to know that you're real. I'm not getting myself caught up in no stuff. You know, if you real and you want to have a real relationship, cool. But outside of that, I'm gonna check you right then and there, and then I'm gonna cut you off. It ain't gonna be no long, drawn out thing. And so the thing with Miss Dixon, like, I love that she had the poise to sit there and allow this to happen. But at the same time, I wish that she hadn't. I wish she had gotten up and checked that nigga. That's what I really wish that she had done. Get up and check him. And then tell the lady on Fox 45, I'll be right back. You know, exactly, Haki. It's triggering. You know? And then on top of that, when Haki had the thing on his page, and I was like, what happened? And when he sent me the video, like, that triggered me. That triggered me, because I'm like, what? Like, you you're a grown man? Okay, and I consider grown over 18. And I consider if you're not slow and you don't have any type of disability going on, when you stand in the front of me and I'm doing the video, I'm expecting you to pull back until I finish. Don't ask me no questions, because you already know I said I'm gonna be on here for about 5 minutes. But it was triggering to me to the point that I said in Hakeem's comments, like, you know what? Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I gotta come on and talk about this, because women, one thing that we have to do, because sometimes women, we let stuff go too far. Now, when you decide to throw a shirt at me, just one shirt, and I don't say anything at that moment, I'm giving you the opportunity, and I'm giving you permission to go ahead and throw another shirt. They throw a belt, they throw a punch. And we got to learn how to check these men. I can't speak for the men. And I'm not saying that women are the only ones that go through abuse, because men go through abuse as well. Okay. But I'm not a man. I've been blessed with the female parts. Okay. So when all I can speak about is these hormones right here. But we have to learn that was not okay. And I love Miss Dixon. Like, I love her to the ends of the earth. And I hope she wins. But the thing is, Miss Dixon, please, next time, Check that ninja, okay? I ain't gonna say the other word. Check that ninja. Do not let him get away with that, because now you're trending all, like, you're all over the place. People ain't even know, like, probably didn't know who she was, but now all of a sudden they like, who is this lady? And then people was texting me like, okay, that's right, Christina. And people was texting me like, maybe she shouldn't run for mayor. Maybe she need to get her house together. Like, because people start assuming. And the thing is, once you put yourself in a public arena, which I hate, like, when I first started doing this, I was just really just sitting on here doing some Facebook lives and talking, and it's just turned into a thing where people think that they know you. And I'd be like, they feel like they know you to the point where they can tell you what to do and all this kind of stuff. Like, and so that's why I had pulled back a lot from social media too, because sometimes it just gets overwhelming. But with her being in the public light like that, now people are going to start talking about she's weak, or she's going through abuse, or she should have done this, or she should have done that. Again, unless you're in that situation, you don't know why that occurred. But my thing is this. And you can be the strongest woman in the world, because I felt like I was strong, but I went through a 27-year marriage dealing with mental abuse and some verbal abuse. And there's still uh things that trigger me, like this situation right here. And I'm very careful about dating, you know, because I'm not about wasting my time. I spent 27 years in a marriage, so I'm not about wasting my time. But would I love to get married again? Absolutely, but you ain't waste my time, and my peace is way too important. So for Miss Dixon, I think that what I would love for her to do, and I said this to Haki, is that I would love for her to address it and just say, and just shut everybody up. Shut up all the noise. This is what happened. Don't just say I'm okay, everything is good, because guess what? That's what all abused people say. I said it. I got up and did my hair, makeup, sang and traveled and was singing with all these different groups and crying on the way to the place and crying on the way back, because I was just so broken inside. But everybody looked at me like, oh, you're so strong, you're so this, you're so that. And sometimes we look at people and, we see their outer strength, and we see everything, and we're like, wow, she's amazing. People still say that about me, and they don't know that I have my moments when I'm here crying, because I'm dealing with stuff. So what I would say to Miss Dixon is that, you're running for mayor. I love you. I just hope that you will, when you're feeling like it, not when everybody else is telling you to do it, because that was an embarrassing moment. That was an embarrassing moment. And I know that she's a woman of great pride. That was an embarrassing moment. And at the time, you're trying to do an interview, you're trying to stay focused. So she wasn't, I'm sure, wasn't thinking about all of these things. It becomes an afterthought, like after all of this goes off. And then you see the media frenzy, then you're like, oh my goodness, I should have done this, I should have done that. So I'm not blaming her for anything, but I'm just saying that she really needs to um, talk and say what happened. Because Miss Dixon, you know what? There are a lot of women out here, black, white, Latinos, all kinds of women who look up to you. And for one, everybody wants to make sure you're good, you're okay. And some people might have the question like, well, why didn't you handle it right then? Maybe she didn't handle it right then for a reason. We don't know who that person was. We don't know, like I said, what transpired just before she did that video. But Ninja, I'm going to tell you something. You throw a shirt at me, it's going to be on. It is going to be on. Okay? It ain't like I can't remember that lady's name. She's real pretty on Fox 45. I would have told her, look, miss, this is over right now, because I need to go handle this right here. And everybody would have seen that, because we can't allow people, and it's even children out here abusing their parents. I saw a little boy. a couple weeks ago at the supermarket. His mother told him he couldn't get some candy or something, and she was bending down talking to him, and he slapped her right in the face. Now, see, if he was my son, and my son knows that, he would have been on top of that supermarket roof. Because the one thing that you raise your hand and slap me, little boy, like I told my son one time, I told him to count all 10 of his fingers. How many do you want left? Because you're about to lose some. Because he thought he could hit me one time. And I told him to count all 10 of them. Because when I finish, you might not have any left. You might be writing with your nubs. Because I'm not going to play like that. And so I think that we have to make sure that as women, that we let men know it's not okay. What you did, sir, was not okay. Now, like I said, if you're slow or you got some disabilities going on, you're developmentally delayed, something like that, I understand. But even in that moment, and you have an interview coming up, maybe it would have been good if, and maybe it was nobody there to watch over this person if they do have those issues, and time was of the essence, and she just had to go do her interview. But Miss Dixon, if he was not any of those things and he was just in there acting like a butthole, I really hope that you handled that situation. Because the way it came across on the video to a lot of people, it scared people. People were scared for you because people saw a look like you're kind of you're looking at the camera, but you're also looking and you kind of, bracing yourself because you see him picking them clothes up out of that laundry basket or whatever he had or that bag. Or where was he coming from? That's what I said. Was you washing clothes? Like, what was going on? That you walking around with clothes? Was you undressing? I didn't understand. Like, what? Where was he getting clothes from? And so, oh yeah, Miss Dimitri said she got 5 children, and she said not one of them even thought to raise a hand. Her, see, that's a black mother, and so, you know, what she said? Oh, he said men need to check these. Yeah, they do, and we got a lot. Oh, Patrice Sanders, that's her name, Patrice Sanders. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman too. Um, and Patrice said she's like, you know what, I'm going to let you go because, um, you know, she said, I know you're not feeling good. Patrice saw what was going on, and I think Patrice was like, let me hurry up in this interview because I don't know what the heck is happening over there. But she said, I can see you're not feeling good, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But listen, when people, and I want to say this, and I don't want to say that Miss Dixon is in an abusive situation. Like, I've heard so much stuff today. That's why I said I'm not going to repeat it, because I don't repeat gossip and stuff like that, because people just love to gossip. They love to love. If you want to be a lawyer or a therapist, go to school and get them papers. Stop getting online talking about, oh, this happened, that happened. She needed go get a degree so you can understand. But just stop it, okay? But let's just make sure that she is okay, because she's one of the queens, okay? Is it a higher thing than a queen? She's like one of the queens of Baltimore City, okay? And I love me some Sheila Dixon. I don't care what people say. Don't talk to me about what she did, gift cards. Go sit down, okay? Just please go sit down. Please. I'm trying to make sure that my son and your son and all these kids get to see another day. And if she can come back in office and make things better, come on back, Miss Dixon, please. Because all this stuff, now people want to talk about her gift cards, and they're really going to use this, Miss Dixon. Queen Mother, there you go, Haki. Queen Mother, yes, she is. Get us some of her props. Because I've seen that woman walk the streets and tell young men, you better pull your pants up. She talked to them like they were, like she was their mother, and guess what they did? They pulled them pants up and gave her the respect. So she's definitely Queen Mother. That's why I say don't talk about Miss Dixon. Please don't talk about her, please. That's why I had to come on here tonight. Because I just want to make sure she's okay. But I'm getting ready to get off of here. But I want to say this to everybody. Be very careful when you see, hear, or think that somebody is in an abusive situation or things are going on with them, because it's very, how can I put it? People are very fragile. And I'm not putting, um, he said, talk about ugly Brandon Scott. James, you really want to get me started tonight, don't you? I ain't been on here in a minute. Um, but I do have something to say about Brandon real quick. But when people have gone are in an abusive situation, they're in a fragile state. So be very careful. And I'm not saying that Miss Dixon is in a abusive situation. I'm just saying, I'm talking about abuse because that's my topic tonight. I'm gonna find out how she's doing tomorrow. But when people are in abusive situations, they're very fragile. Watch what you say to them. Watch how you approach them. You know, people get mad like, you know, why are you still there? Why don't you leave? It's a mental thing. I consider myself a very smart woman. But the one thing I couldn't figure out was how to get out of that marriage. And you know when I figured it out? When I got out. Because sometimes you can be so stuck in that situation, and it's just like you in this box and you're suffocating. Nobody understands how you feel. Nobody's listening to you. People, you got some people saying, oh yeah, I understand what you're going through. You ain't even been through no abuse, period. And so it's very hard. And sometimes you look at people and you like, him, her, how could you be in a situation? Things happen. And that's why I said tonight, check it. When you see that mess happening, don't let it roll on. Because when you continue to let that mess roll on and on and on and on, guess what you're doing? You're digging yourself a deeper hole that you're going to be falling into, and it's going to be hard to get out of. And then you be like me, being in a marriage for 27 years, going through different stuff some stuff I'll never talk about. I'll take it to my grave. And then getting divorced, I think I was like 45, something like that when I got divorced. I am really just starting to live my life because I couldn't figure out how to get out of that situation. And what I needed at the time, and what people need when they're in these situations, is they need your attention. They need your support. Even if you see them going back 10, 15, 20 times and you're like, they stupid. Why they keep going back? Hang in there with them. The problem with this whole abuse thing is that it's a cycle. And I've talked about this so many times, and this is like the one subject that I really hate to talk about, abuse. But I've talked about this so many times, and people get caught up in that cycle where they're in the honeymoon phase and everything is just going so good, and the person apologized, they bought me flowers, we're back together, and then, you know, we're laughing, talking, we're going on, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're getting annoyed about something. And it just starts to progress and progress and progress until there's another blow up. And I always tell people, watch the patterns, because it's a pattern. I had to tell my son that not too long ago, about one of his friends. It's a pattern. And like I told him, I've been watching the pattern for you. I've been writing down the pattern for you. Let me show you. Because people will always resurface and show themselves. Abusers will always do that. And if we don't check them, they're going to think it's okay. And that's why I said I wish Miss Dixon had said to Miss Patrice, Miss Patrice, I'm really not feeling well today. My voice is messed up. Can we do this at another time? Click. I would have turned that camera off and I would have handled that ninja in that room right then and there. And I'm not telling you, I'm not just saying this off the cuff. I would have handled him in that moment. Because the moment you think you can raise your hand, to me, I'm a grown woman. And hands have already been raised in my rearing from my mother and father. But my father didn't even hit me at all. But you're not going to stand there and humiliate me. And millions of people are now watching what's going on. Because I'm going to check you right now. And if anybody gets humiliated, because knowing me, because listen, like I said, I'm not there yet. But knowing me, I would have told Miss Patrice, can you hold on 1 second? Give me 1 second. And I would have walked away from that chair and y'all would have heard so much commotion in the background. That ninja would have been running. And then I would have came back and sat down and asked her, do we still have enough time to finish the interview or you want to do it another time? I would have acted like nothing happened. Because that's the one thing I learned out of my situation. Check it now. Check it now. And stop giving people permission to keep rolling on and doing stuff like it's okay. It's not okay. You want to be abusive? Go somewhere else with that mess. Don't do it over here. Now, I tell people, I could be the nicest person in the world. I will pray for you, anoint you, and all of that. But when you come with some disrespect, with the raising hands and all of that, cussing and all kinds of stuff, I'm going to check you in that moment, especially if you're in my home. And you could be my husband. Where my phone at? I'll pick up that phone so quick and dial 911. Don't sit up here and take abuse from men. And men don't sit up here and take abuse from women. I have a son. And I done told my son several times, you are not allowed and you are not going to take abuse from a woman. And if I see you doing it, I'm going to check you and I'm going to check her also. Because you're not going to be abusive in my presence. I done already been there and done that. Girl, I haven't done it live in so long. This is why, because I just gets worked up. But Miss Dixon, like I said, I am praying for you. I love you. Whatever that situation was that transpired, what she say, I wasn't stuck. I had to wait 24 years before I was able to get out. I was called everything except the child of God. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. What Marla say? Girl, Sheila spent that good money. Well, I don't know what Miss Dixon spent, and I'm not talking about no money tonight. I'm talking about abuse. I don't know what she spent. How's she going to talk about Haki said, how is she going to talk and be tough in public life, but can't in private life? Your values are your values. Yeah, and see, Haki, that is the question. I wonder if I can interview her. I've been trying to pull away from doing these political interviews. I just feel like I'm being called to do something else, but I have interviewed her before. But I get what you're saying, and that's what a lot of people that were texting me, that's what they were saying today. Like, how's she going to lead the public, like lead the city, especially with all the crime and stuff that we have going on, and she's sitting there taking abuse on the camera. And that's why I said, like, we don't really know what happened. We don't know who this person was in the background. All we saw that it was not right, and we saw how she looked. Now, I think it's up to her. She definitely, because she's running for office, she definitely is going to need to speak up, especially up to us Baltimoreans, and let us know. Yes, Dr. E, he said it's far more deeper. She's definitely going to have to step up and let us know what happened, because we're the ones that's going to be voting her possibly in office. I would love to see her back in office again. She needs to give a more detailed statement. I agree, Haki. I totally agree. And as I said earlier, when you put yourself in the public eye, sometimes I've had to speak up and say some things, and people are like, well, why you say that? Because here's the thing, I'm gonna tell it before you tell it. Okay, so by the time you tell it, it's gonna be late. That's why. So I would hope that Miss Dixon would just go ahead, even if she's hurting or embarrassed or whatever the situation is, don't just tell us that you're okay. We're happy, that you're okay, but are you really okay? And we would love for you to come and give us an explanation, because an explanation is going to better help us to decide where our vote is going to go, how we're going to vote. So yeah, is that Marla? She says she got to explain this. Yeah, definitely, definitely, she has to. Um, Lady J, get her number. I'm gonna call her. I'll let you know. Lady J, I got her. Oh yeah, yeah, I have Miss Dixon's number. I said that before. Like, I've spoken to her a minute at the park. Like, I know her. She knows who I am. I just didn't have time when this was going on today, to stop, and I wanted to give her the proper time, when I'm talking to her. But, what I would say to everybody is, let's, number one, pray for her. Because she is running for office. This is a tough city. And we already know people are going to try to, they're going to be trying to set her up with different things. And Lord knows they ain't going to never forget about them gift cards, talking about the gift cards and all of that. Let it go, please. God forgives. Let's forgive and move on. We got people in office that's done worse than that, and people still in office. So I just let stuff go. My thing now, I ain't worried about no gift cards. I'm worried about the crime, all of the crime that's going on in the city and the cars being stolen. Can somebody come in and please help take care of that? Because and really, I don't think nobody can. Can't nobody handle this but Jesus, because it's just out of control. Like, it really, really is out of control. Like, it's terrible. So, let's keep Miss Dixon in prayer. Those of you who know her, personally or whatever, you have her number, shoot her a text. Let her know that you're thinking about her. Let her know that you're praying for her. Let her know how you feel. Let her know that you feel like she just needs to come out and have that conversation. And it doesn't even have to be long. It could be 2 or 3 minutes. Look, this is what happened. This is how I dealt with it. No, I'm not in an abusive situation. This is what's going on. But because right now it just kind of leaves things wide open, and it leaves a lot of air for speculation and for people to just throw out whatever they feel like happened. Because I'm telling you, some of this stuff, people was calling me today saying, what, I said, look, click, because I don't do no gossip. I don't need to hear that. That's why I said I'm not. That's why I was going to play the video, but then I said, I'm not even playing the video. Y'all want to see the video? Go see the video. I don't condone that type of behavior. But what I will say is this: that was a form of abuse. I don't care what people say. I don't care what you say. That was a form of abuse. That was a form of someone trying to exert their power. That was a form of aggression. And definitely someone who's selfish. And I'm saying this based on the fact that there's nothing wrong with the man. The man is he don't have no developmental issues. So please don't let me end this video by making you feel like that wasn't a form of abuse. That was a form of abuse. And we have to understand what abuse is, and stop putting those little yellow sticky notes over here. Oh, this is abuse right here, but this is not abuse. And this is abuse up here, but this is not abuse. Anytime, and this is for men or women, anytime you are invading my personal space and you're doing something to me that is unacceptable, you already know that it's wrong. You already knew this woman was doing an interview. And you gonna come and try to talk through the interview? You gonna throw clothes? You flexing? Anytime you do these things, people, That was a form of abusive behavior. And that's why I said I wished that she had checked him. And then we would be having a whole nother conversation. But stop putting sticky notes on abuse about what is and what is not. We all deserve to be treated in the right way. I go and visit people who are incarcerated. People are like, well, why you talk to them? Or why do we all deserve to be treated with some type of dignity and spoken to in the right way? And for sure, if I'm not disrespecting you or coming at you the wrong way, please don't do that to me. And some people will tell you, because they'd already seen Lady J in action, I will check you right there. Because we're not going to let this go any further. Because then when I let it go further, then I got to go home and cry and be depressed and sad because I let you get away with that. Abuse of any kind is wrong. I don't care if it's from your pastor, the elder, the deacon, the usher. I don't care who's putting it out. Your child, your parents, the schools. I don't care who it is. Abuse is wrong. Abusive behavior is wrong. People can be verbally abusive. There's cyber abuse. There's physical abuse. There's mental abuse. There's elder abuse. There's all different types of abuse. Sexual abuse. And what we saw today, or what I watched today, I'm sorry, that was abusive behavior. So like I said, let's pray for her. Let's ask God that he will continue to cover this beautiful woman, this beautiful queen. And I pray that when she feels up to it, and I wouldn't let this go on too long, that she will sit in front of that camera for a few minutes and say, this is what happened. And go on and continue to be the strong black woman that she is. I'm done. Oh, I said I was going to say something about Brandon. The only thing I would say about Brandon, because we live in a society now where ain't nobody get married no more. I guess people my age still get married. I don't know. I don't think people think about getting married. They just have sex and have babies and keep it moving. And the baby over here with the mother, then next week they over here with the father. I don't understand it, but that's what's going on in the world right now. So the only thing I would say about Brandon is that I wish that he had been married. I wish he was married to the young lady, and I wish they had, because again, you're in the public eye and people are looking at you, and you are a public figure, and people are watching you, and there's probably some mothers out there. It wouldn't be me, but it's probably some mothers out there saying, "Oh, maybe one day you could be mayor, or you could be like Brandon." And they use him as that barometer for some of their children. So I don't know, but that's the only thing I would say about Brandon. I Outside of that, I don't really have anything else to say about him. You know, uh, and I pray for him and his baby that's coming. I just, he's young. He's in his 30s, and you know, a lot of young people that I talk to that are in their 20s and 30s, they're like, what's the big deal about getting married? I mean, it's just not a big deal for them. And so marriage is not, what she say, marriage is not even a thought, and I'm in my 60s. Well, I don't know. I think that if the right person came around, I probably would think about it, because nobody wants to, live alone. But they would definitely have to have some type of values, and I'm definitely not dealing with abuse and any type of craziness. Because for me, I stay by myself because my peace is way too important. And so anyway, yeah, like I said about Brandon, I just wish him well. I think the baby's supposed to be born in March or something. And I just hope that they come together. Maybe at the appointed or appropriate time, they'll get married. I don't know, but like I said, these young people these days, they just like, what did we used to say? We said first comes love, then comes marriage. Right, right. We used to say first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a baby and the baby carriage. Well, right now they're saying first comes the baby and the carriage, and then maybe love might come. And we don't know if marriage is coming or not. So, that's the day and age that we live in. So I really, I don't really have much of a comment about that. My son is 27, and you know, um, I'm around a lot of his friends, so I hear how they talk, and nothing really surprises me anymore. We're just living in a different day and time, and um, you know, I think for those of us who are older, sex was equated with love. The person I want to be with, I love this person. Now they just have sex because they feel like they need it. So I don't know. So anyway, y'all have a good night. Have a great night. Please do me a favor. Make sure you share this video. Haki, thank you so much for bringing this to the forefront for us to be able to have a conversation about it. Um, Betty Payton said, Haki, what did she say? I'm not sure what she meant about that. I'm not sure what question she was asking. But anyway, yeah, Haki, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Thank you for being the man that you are. You're blessed, brother. You really are, and you are a great example for our young men. And I have to give this man his props. Is my hat sliding off? What's going on here? I done talked about so much the hat sliding off. Hold on, man. Come on now. So I have to I love giving people their props. And so, I got to give Haki his props. Cool brother. I really like him. So, yeah, so let's continue to keep all of this in prayer and don't take any type of abuse. What she says, Jesus has to tell me this is it. I love my, oh, she's saying Jesus has to tell her if that's the right man. Well, that's the way it should be. I love my peace and quietness. Girl, I know that's right. I'm getting ready to go ahead and take this hat off and go watch a movie. All right, y'all. Good night.